For me, costume design is all about context. I might start with images of clothes or textures or colors that kind of float around in my mind while I'm listening and responding. But then I have to take that through a process of, okay, I feel these things, but where do they gel in a social sense? Where are we? My name's Constance Hoffman, and I'm the costume designer for the new production of La Bohème, coming up this season at the Santa Fe Opera. When we were imagining the world of La Bohème, we began to look at the 20th century and at the First World War, and the kind of modern art movement of the early 20th century in Paris really became quite exciting to us. There's several different avenues that I looked at for the design. The first is trying to find the people and studying artists of the early 20s in Paris was that first step. The other part of that is that we were really inspired by a lot of the photography of the period, which has a kind of silvery quality. And I really wanted the clothes to feel like tinted photographs. So the color is really subdued. You almost think you're in a black and white palette in the very beginning until Mimì comes in and brings color into the world. But it's a very delicate color, it's fragile. So Mimì, our thoughts about her as a team, but also just my response to the text is that her aria when she enters this room of artists and writers who've been struggling to get by, musicians and whatnot, that she's the real artist who enters the room. So this idea evolved of her having a blouse that she's made and embroidered, and also a work apron that she has made for herself. So I found research for that apron on a website that carried vintage patterns that they've scanned into PDFs.
Oh, wow.
But they also had the actual magazine it came from, so I got that.
Yeah.
So that can be a reference for the shop, for the shape of the apron and also for the embroidery technique. It's not that often that you can work hand embroidery into a costume in such a personal way for a character. So I'm super interested in seeing where that leads. I love working with the Santa Fe Opera. It was my first job out of grad school. So it's, I'm meeting old friends as we work together, and it's beautiful to return to a place where you started and to find that, I love watching that it's still the most supportive environment for young artists who want to enter opera. And so I really treasure the people who are working and are committed to working at the Santa Fe Opera because it's still a really special festival.